Morning, guys. John here, Mr. Forex Fighter. It is the 29th of September. It's Wednesday morning. Yesterday, I was at the hospital getting some tests done with to see my medication needed changing. Long story short, my medication was not ready, so I've got to pop there at some stage this morning. I'm just waiting for the lift to go and get those, so we may have to cut this short at some stage this morning. However, let's get a look at these charts and see what we can find. A little bit of a, well, I wouldn't say so much a late start, to be fair, other than the kids were just having to get ready for school. So I'm just going to share my screen first of all and then see if I can make this bigger. This is on the 1 minute. Fantastic. Let's get our go. For some reason, my trading view isn't working. Why is that? Sign in. Google. Chart. So able to let me in now. Bit of a strange one. It's past, and you know the rules with these. So I do this every morning. We make sure we get them set up. So if this is the first time you're watching, we go 8:30 a.m. start. And we always finish, or we try to get the finish for a 10:30 a.m. finish. Now that is our working parameter. Let's go at the 15-minute. We jump up 2 time frames. Let's just get rid of some of the noise. I went back to back test yesterday as a bit to see where I would have gotten in on a trade, and we would have had a winner, but because I couldn't document it, I couldn't put it on the results. Okay, so it was only fair and square. I can't document it then, and it's not sort of done live or a screenshot of the chart before and after, then it wouldn't be documented. So we're still in this big downtrend, and I've still got a bad chest, dear me. So we're still in the downtrend, okay, on the 15-minute, heavy downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We broke through the nesting area. The nesting area is being smashed through. So we've taken a lot of liquidity from this side here. We keep going back. Is there anything where it's come down to beforehand? Possibly not. We're going as far back as May. Keep scrolling back. No, right out of chart in the 15-minute. So we've took liquidity, okay, and just ignore these small constricted lines at the moment. So let's just make this bigger. Let's just see where we are on the bigger side. Again, that was an area which I was expecting the other week. We might get a push up, to be fair. A lot of consolidation. Just look at that. Look at that, guys. All consolidated within the zone. Pip wise, yesterday, the range was 44 pips. So from the high point within my trading session down to the low, there was a range of 44 pips. So nothing much to be grabbed. Let's just get this down to the 1 minute. much, to be fair. Not seeing much. High. Swing point of a low, and there's liquidity down here. We may see, in fairness, a take here onto here with a push there, simply because we've got that there. We've got there. So as we're coming down out of the consolidated zone, okay, one or two things that this could go. As we've got a high, a lower high, a lower low, we broke structure coming out up on this. So we have got a break of structure here. However, we could get that effect. And if you followed any of my stuff, you could get that to here. So the thing is, if we get a break of structure, if this stops out, it could head down to this area. If this structure holds, 3 pips, we'll do an entry to 2. I'll do an entry 2 around about here, so that's more or less a 1 to 5. So what we're going to be looking at is a trade this morning. I don't mind risking. Do this from here, this to here. So what I'm going to do today, because this is on the liquidity side, there's liquidity residing in the bottom there, I'm going to risk 2%. So you heard this first. We're going to risk 2% today, simply because we have had 23.84, I do believe, isn't it? So let's just take a look. We'll risk 2% because at the moment, we're on 23.84%. So we'll risk 2% on this trade. I was going to wait till next week for doing this sort of stuff, but we'll risk 2% on this trade. Okay. So if it wins, it's 10.3. Wins 10.30% gain. Okay, let's just make that smaller. If it loses, it's 2%. 2% loss. Excuse me. So what we'll do is, guys, we'll let that run again. We'll see what the structure brings. We'll see we'll come down into the entry. If it does stop us out, it may head down to this area before it does a bounce back. If it comes out of this area and takes out 2%, we may be looking at this area up here to continue down. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share and then we'll head back into this and we'll see where we are. So the parameters for this trade, we are going to risk a 2%. Nothing wrong with that. We are heavily in profit for the month, and we can see if we can sort of double up on a regular gain. Okay, guys. So I'm just going to stop the share, pause the video, and we're back. Let's just take a look and have an update on what we're doing. You just bear with me. I've just got to make sure, first of all, I share the screen. That's the most important bit. Right, guys. So what we're looking at before we go any further is this here. Okay. Let's just make this a bit bigger. Get my handsome Geordie face a little bit bigger as well. It's big enough, isn't it? Right. So as we're waiting for this trade to come in or move around, I just want to give people that are seeing this for the very first time, okay? My name is John, Forex Fire. You can see it across here. Get access to this community on the YouTube, which you're probably watching this now. Click the like and the notification bell, the thumbs up and the notification bell. You'll see all of my stuff when it goes on YouTube. If you hit that notification bell from there, if you're getting insane value, which I know there is many people doing, if you're getting insane value, you can come in and become part of this community. You simply just hit on my homepage on YouTube, the join. You can come in as a spark, or you can come in as a fully fledged fire member. And what I'll do is I'll get you access. Once you've done that, reach out to me via a message, and you will be able to get access to this Discord community channel, okay, where many others are having success. On top of that, you'll see many links in the description on my YouTube video on here. And click on those links, it'll take you to various things. Again, I'm full of honesty, integrity, and value, as many people will tell you. That is part of this community, okay? So today we've got 3 weeks. We've got 1 week, 2 week. We're into week 3. Yesterday, the 28th, and we're going to go back to the chart in a moment. The 28th, I couldn't trade yesterday. I was getting some work done. So there was no trading done. Okay. And what we'll do there is we'll just make that yellow. And now we're on to the 29th. Okay. Come on, copy that. Give it in. Doesn't want to play it. There we are. And now we're on to the 29th. We'll fill this out later on. Let's just take a look. Minimize that. Make that bigger. Now we're waiting for an entry on this. It seems to have gone into a consolidation zone. I'm just going to give you a further rundown in the analysis on this. Okay. We do have the 8:30 start. The swing high, the swing low was this range. So it's still within the range. Normally, I would wait for a break out of the high or the low range. However, we have come back in to play of around about 50% of the range on this, around about 50%, yeah, just over 50%. So it's given 50% back in the pullback. So you'll see on these zones, I call these fire zones, you'll see these are heavily respected. So there's a zone here, you see, it's respecting that area there. We've got a zone here, it's coming into play a couple of times in and out. And on here, these are like magnets. The inner ones are more stronger. So again, where the liquidity lies on here is an indication where I want to go to as well. Again, this pullback here, okay, this pullback here is we were working on things like the A, B, C, okay. If this was to push out of this area, out of the range or the swing point from the earlier before the half year start, this zone here is generally, that's the impulse, okay. This is the 50% retrace into here, and then we could normally target this here, hence why I've got the C down here. So if we were to sort of break out of here and lose our 2%, I would then be looking at a retraced area, because we've had to break out of this. This would be my area of looking to get back into. However, the Euro USD has been on a heavy downturn for some time now. We should be anticipating some sort of retracement to the higher side soon. Again, we've got to wait for that to happen. But based upon the trades on this, and I hope you're taking notes on this, because you will take a lot away if you rewatch these videos. What we wait for is a breakout on the 1 minute, okay? Once we get a breakout of a swing or a structure point, we would then wait for a retracement back to a certain area, an order block area, and where the breakout occurred, once you get the pullback, where the breakout occurred, we would put our TP area. Again, from here, this is the instance for this. Okay, we've got a lower high, we've got a higher high, we've got a retracement in. However, we've just missed the entry, okay, by your pip or a pipette. And I'm not worried about this. So less than a pip entry. I mean, I've made this tighter than what I would normally do. If you see on here, you can see this would have ended there. This would have ended if I went to the body. See this? There's the line there. This would have ended more or less to the pip if I took it from the body. Instead, I went to refine it a little bit more to get us a 1 to 5. If I took it to the body, this would have been a 1 to 4, and it would be well on its way. However, just click back to get that back to its original price. I was expecting it to come into a little bit more. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to play that out a little bit longer, but you can see it has respected this zone pretty heavily. I'm going to pull this out to here, and I'm going to just keep this trade as it is, because I'm not bothered if we don't get a trade today. I just want to show you an analysis wise on this, just to let this bit sink in and the mindset. Okay, now if this was to lose and you lost 2%, right? If you were to lose this and you lost 2% on your account, would you be feeling down in the dumps? Would you be upset? You would be, but on the standpoint, and again, I'll go back on what we do when we look at things from a bird's eye view, okay? From a standpoint, what you can do is you look at this, you can see I've got 23.84%. Now, I've done this in front of you each day, every day, okay? We have grown this to 23.84%. So if I was to risk 2% on this trade, okay, it's going to give me a 10.3 gain, okay? 10.3 gain on top of 23 is 33%, which is fantastic for a monthly gain total. And there's not many people can even get 3 or 4% in a month, to be fair. But we are growing this steadily. So for me, I was only going to start implementing this side of the trading into the last week. But today I'm going to risk 2%. If I lose, I only drop down to 21%. I'm still happy with that. And I know many others would be. If I win, I've grown the account substantially by an extra 10%. So I'm just going to go onto that, make sure I'm still sharing. Yes, we are. We'll keep this live. This is going to be the one main trade for today. Hopefully we're going to get a push down into this area to give us the push back up. But again, we are now creating high highs, lower highs. So as we have structurally, let's just get this on here. As we have got this here, you've got this here. We may get a push out to create that higher high. And what I mean by that is this might break out the TP area and then give us the high high. So here we start from the lower, okay, just to give you an idea of how structure works. We've got a high. Just bear with me, guys. I've just got a phone call. Just got a phone call, guys. Just bear with me. Stop share. Pause. Hi, sorry guys. That was the father-in-law. He's given me a lift up to. He's given me a lift up to the hospital to get my meds. Share the screen. Let's get this back on. So yeah, structure-wise, we've got lows, we've got highs, we've got higher lows. Okay. Now, if this was to come up here and break that, if this was to impulse above that, that there would then become a higher high. Okay. So again, yes, I do some live trading. I do some sessions on this, but I'm going to try and do the analysis and explanations along the way while I do these videos, just so it gives people a learning and an understanding on what we're looking at. Okay. So structure wise, as we've come down, we've now broke this here. Okay. We've got a low, a high, a high, a low, possibly a high area up here. As we drill this further into here, okay. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Get rid. We'll get rid of some of the texts. And we've still got a 51518. Yeah, right. So as this is climbing up, it looks as if it might sort of take out my analysis. Well, not so much my analysis. If we do get a push out of here, we're just gonna it was a non-entry trade, to be fair, because we've missed it by not even a pip. Again, we're going to drill into what we've got here. So this is it at the moment. This is the impulse side. So let's talk about imbalance and things like that at the moment. Oh, go back. Right. So imbalance, guys, is sort of where price action leaves an inefficiency sort of footprint. Okay. So let's have a look and see if we can see some. There's not much, to be fair. There's a good price. There's good price being moving on here. Yeah, well, there was actually. So where you've got the selling, let's have a look. This has come back in, to be fair. Yeah, very, very clean price. Very clean price action. I'm going to leave that bit for another part of a video later. So I do apologize about that, guys. We're now getting a push back down towards our entry area. But again, structure-wise, we can talk about lows and high highs. And again, based upon this one, you've got here low. Okay. You've got a high. Higher, lower. Higher, high. Higher, lower. High, high. And at the moment, we've got a higher low. So there's a channel forming up here, okay? Again, based upon this here, okay? You can see on the top, this is the last up before the down order block. We have come in nicely to mitigate into this. We speak heavily upon these fire zones, okay? The fire zones. It's come into touch. You see this here? It's come into beautifully touched where the order block is here. It's wicked into the fire zone. Again, these are very important areas. Let's just go out one. And again, on a channel stand front, what you've got is you've got a workable area between this structure here, the high and the low, how it's coming in. And you see the power of the median line, the power of that median line. Again, from there, guys, if we just get rid of that, because you're breaking structure. Okay, you broke a structure on here. I'll just show you this, see if I can get this very, very close in. Right, so what you've got is this part here is an order block. The last down before the up, we'll stretch that out, okay, on this bit here. And this is how you can refine this by so much, okay. You've got this here is a breaker structure point. Okay, we've come back in and we've mitigated the 50% area. Okay, so playing here wire. So you could, if you get, like I say, confident enough with playing around with this, you could have said, well, we will have an entry here. This is where the last high or low was. This is where the breaker structure was. That there is, it's in and it's out, and it's done that within this candle here was the entry. It's done that within 7 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes. That growth in itself is a 2.93. So that is under a 3%. That's just under a 3% growth. Okay, guys. We'll just go back. Again, you might want to watch these videos back and back again, because you will get so much value out of them. However, I'm looking from the swing, the initial drive, the initial push. I don't want to delve too far, deep dive analysis, because there is so much you can grab within these zones. All you need to understand is when you're getting a push from an A to B and you've got an order block and you implement these fire zones, you're going to see so much more, and it's just going to be like your mind's going to be blown, because you're going to see so much of these areas of importance, how they hold within the structure themselves. Because in all honesty, what you've got here, everywhere's fractal. Okay, even on this here, from that move there to that move there, that in itself is between the A, B, C, the big move. Okay, that there is our consolidated zone area. Okay, that's our consolidated zone area. So a price is going to reside within that, and as it moves out of that structured area, the A to the B bit, so you've got your initial starting area, you've got your drive, which is an impulse. In this instance, it's the downturn. As you've got the downturn, and then you start getting the pullback will generally give you a nice area of 50% bounce off. That's what it's done on this instance. Okay, as you get that bounce off that 50%, if this was to pull down, if this was to move with price, it hasn't at the moment, but if this was to break out of here and it breaks structure of that, we generally can rely upon at least this amount of movement of the kinetic energy that's driven the price to this, to then drive the same as when you've done the retracement. So when you drop a ball and it bounces, generally that bounce of the ball, when it comes back up with the energy that's being propelled into the drop, it'll generally bounce around about 50% or half, if that makes sense. So this area in itself is our consolidated zone. That's what it's doing at the moment. Pips wise, it's only been 13 pips. Okay, within that area is 13 pips from the high to that low. With regards to the time at the moment, this has been stuck and trapped within that consolidated A to B, where the bounce of the balls come back in. This is like a spring. So as that's consolidating along, the spring's going to get tighter, tighter, tighter. And then eventually when you get the break, whether it's on the downside, retest and bosh, or to the upside, retest and bang, you're going to get a big impulse bounce move out of that area, if that makes sense. So let's just have a look on this. We'll just get rid of that. Whoops, my price has disappeared. I want the price, there we are, the price is back in. So again, that was 5.15, yeah. So we're going to continue. I've got till 10:15. If this trade doesn't play in, what I'll do is I'll just close the trade out, to be fair. We'll look as if we're stuck in sort of consolidated areas, but we're going to continue to analyze and sort of fill this out so you can get the gist on structure. And this is one of my key things. That's the higher low. Get rid of that. So what we're looking at here, will we continue to drive? Okay, we got the low, the high low, the higher high, the high low, the higher high, the high low. Price indicates to us now on this trend here, indicates that we should break structure of this. So my next pinpoint on that, in what I would be looking at, I mean, again, it's not as if I'm going to take a trade. If this was to do a continuation, this is where I would be looking for that price to head to next. Okay, that's where I would be looking for price to head to next. And what I'll do, because I like to analyze everything, let's see if this gives the higher high. And I'm doing this on the 1 minute chart, guys. Let's see if this gives that higher high based upon that impulse, based upon the low, high, low, high, low, higher, high, high, low, higher, high, higher, low. Let's just see if this is going to give us the drive up into that before we then get a move back down. And if we get the move back down, you are then possibly going to look at structurally that order block there, okay, coming down into here, and then if continuation of trend will give us a higher low. We'll see what happens with that, guys. In essence, what I want to see is this to be beautifully ended, and then to give us that big analysis that we've done with regards of a 10.3. But again, not too bothered if it doesn't. This is going to be a good lesson within containing structure within sort of zones and things like that. So if you are seeing some value in this, please comment below. Always bring your notepads and pens when I do these sort of things, because it's going to give you a bit more in-depth look into how I look at structure within structure, if that makes sense. Okay, guys, so I'm going to pause the video. I've got a lot of notifications coming through on my phone, and I am only taking this up till the 10:15 time. Okay, so I'm just going to stop the share. I'm going to pause the video, and we'll come back in a moment and see if that held structure. All right, guys, then we're going to head back over to the chart. We're going to have a quick another look just so we can talk about something else. Hopefully I'm sharing screen. I should be. Just get my handsome face a bit bigger as we head into the last half hour or so. So we spoke about lows, highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows. We haven't quite went up into the higher high yet. However, we can speak about liquidity. Now there's liquidity residing in these areas, okay? And what liquidity is, it's just a pool of money. It's a pool of money left by the banks, just to entice the retail traders into trading. And then what will happen is you'll get a clean side of liquidity and a dirty side of liquidity. Again, liquidity can reside on a trend as it bounces up. As everybody, when you first start learning to trade, you get trained to sort of learn to trade the trend line when it gets bounce and respect, break out, retest, and then take a trade sort of thing. So liquidity is residing on here at the moment. So we've got liquidity on a high side, if that makes sense, with this here from this high all the way along to this high. So there's liquidity there. There's liquidity on this top end here. Again, I'm hoping that we're going to get a break of this here. I'm hoping you're going to get a break of that, bouncing down into that to give us the entry to then take us to the higher side. It just means then that it's invalidated these higher lows, if that makes sense. Because at the moment we're holding structure on the upturn, so we've got a low, high, high, low, high, 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 low, high, high, higher, low. We haven't yet formed a higher high as such, okay? Simply because we've got a buildup of liquidity here. And we need this to break that structure. If this is just bouncing to make liquidity, we may still get this drive from the pullback up to the top end, giving us that high high. If it does give us the higher high, then we can anticipate the move back down into this order block to make a higher low, and then we may get the drive and the push out of this upper order block, if that makes sense. So again, let's see what price does. We'll call back in the next minute or two. We are coming to the last half hour, and then we'll see where we are from structure. So I do hope you're enjoying the session from this today. Again, we don't always have to get into trades, but this would be nice if it does come into play, and we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see you in a bit. Let's share the screen once again, guys, and give you a bit of a lowdown on where we are. Again, we've got that initial push out, which we were anticipating. Liquidity on the lower side. Again, there's liquidity residing here. If we get the push out of this top side, we're possibly going to see that higher high met. We're starting to get the drive down. Price is going to start getting indecisive because we're starting to see a range within a range, if that makes sense. So this is the gray area, is the A, B, C. The A to B is the bigger consolidated zone, if that makes sense. Within that, we've got a sort of pull back into the area of the range. However, this here has started to constrict within our consolidated zone. So it's a bit like as you've come down, you've come back up for the consolidated range. Within that, we are now constricting, and it's going to be like a spring, as you can see on here. You see this effect as you get the pullback. You're now getting the spring, like it's like a spring sort of tightening up, and then you're going to get that big push. There's the wick to the fire zone again. I can't make this stuff up, guys. I don't move these about. Once you see it, you just can't be unseen. Will we get that push and drive out up to the next fire zone? Let's just wait and see what happens. Let's see what happens. See if we can do it while we're on this live. See if we can get it to attain that high level before we then would get the pull down into this. And again, if that was to happen, and I'm not going to enter any trade based upon that, there's the push out. You could then see, right, where we would enter here, and this would be the area here, and then the breakout will be there. So there's a 1 to 2.15. Now, I showed you earlier the trade within the trade. You could have had a 1 to nearly just under 3. If this now comes back down to test this area and then goes on to mitigate that high area, if it was to go there, you would then have gotten another 2.15. So there could have been a trade within a trade, a possible 5% within this 5% structure that I currently have. Again, this is not a live trade. Let's just see if it'll enter. This is our live trade on here. Let's see what happens from there. See if it comes out. And I'll stay on live because I'm going to have to call the video in a moment, simply because I've got to go to the hospital again, unfortunately. See, this will drive down again, guys. Got to stress, this This one here is not going to be a trade. We're just going to see if that would enter, just to see if it would wick entry. But again, this has been, I think, for most part, it's been more of a show and tell and an analysis day on me showing you structure and working this upon the 1 minute charts. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this on live for a minute or two, let the price play out, and I'm just going to type on here for anybody who's watching. This one is not a trade, just analysis. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll put that there. I'm gonna quickly get ready because I will be calling out in a moment and change my shirt, and then we will close this out in a moment or two. Just bear with me, guys. Let's have a look. Let's get a different shirt on because I'll be heading off in a moment. See where this price is, and again, it's holding liquidity there. It's going to drive up. There's our high. You see what I mean? It's respected and it's pushed through that area. It's on a move now. It's on a move. So again, I'm just going to cancel that out there. Again, that was just to see if it was going to come down and touch. It obviously wasn't going to. But let's just go into there. There's the high met for sure. Okay, so did we get that? We certainly did. So that can come off. Again, we've got that and more. Now we'll be anticipating a move possibly down into this order block area. Okay. We'll be anticipating a move down into the order block area. And you can see how this here, guys, look. You can see how it's pushed through the area of this fire zone and it's respecting the upper zone. And again, each level that we get on this, and there's levels that you can add to levels, which is going, once you get the breakout, these levels of structure is going to be targets on if there's a breakout on the higher side, and there'll also be targets if you copy and put them zones to the lower side. Now, if you want to know more about these fire zones, again, you've got to be inside of this Discord channel to find out the secret sauce and what they hold and why they hold these sort of structures. It's a fantastic area. We are anticipating now the move down to possibly then now creating a higher low with a question mark. So we've got a question mark on the high low on structure. What I'm going to have to do, guys, is I'm possibly going to have to cut my. I've got 10 minutes. I suppose I can wait on here. I'm going to pause the video. We'll see if this drives back down into this area again, based upon the structure of that there, and we move this out. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to put these zones within here. Okay, let's see if this does drive down into our order block on the lower side, because we're talking about supply and demand. Demand's on the bottom. When there's no demand for anything, When there's demand for something and there's not enough there, it's on the floor. Okay, everybody wants it. When there's too much of something and it's supply and there's too much to be given away, it's when the buys are being in control, and that's where the order block resides on the top. It's a bit like supporting and resistance lines in a way. Let's just see if this will pull back down into this area. Again, please take your notes. It looks as if we're going to be pushing into the higher side of the firebox, most certainly, simply because we've pushed through. Let's just see if we bounce into it. Let's just see if we get a bounce into that area, or is it just going to be a wick out? There we go. Look at that. Bang. Look, can't make it up. Can't make it up. Done right in front of your face. Again, what may happen is structure-wise, we've got 5 seconds left. Okay, 4. We then might get that push and drive down. This is taking liquidity right across here. It's taking imbalance from up this side as well. So we might get that drive down into here. So again, it's respected that. And if it was in all honesty going to drive out of that, it's taking that last liquidity on there, and then it would do a retest in here somewhere, and then it would certainly start driving to the upper end. But again, guys, done it in front of your face. I've marked my areas. I've done the structure. I've got the fireboxes. I don't make it up. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And this will, in turn, will help you push in the profits like what I've been doing on a day-to-day basis. And again, I've got to stress, I'm doing this on a 2-hour session. I'm doing it with one pair, and I'm doing it on the 1-minute chart. You need to be involved. If you're watching this video right now and you're not part of the Discord community, I urge you to go onto the join on the Forex Fire YouTube, click on the membership, click on the join, and come in as a spark level or come in as a fire member, and I'll get you access to this straight away. And then you're going to get all this goodness with regards to learning structure. I'm going to give you video trainings. I'm going to give you homework sessions. You're going to have access to nearly 400 other people actually using the community that are seeing success with this. And it's my mission. It's my mission to give you confidence to see this sort of stuff, to do it yourself, to apply yourself to the charts. And then from the confidence comes the consistency. We get you consistent with everything that we do with this sort of stuff. And then as we get you consistent, we can then get onto the challenging funded accounts and things like that and talk a little bit more about that. Now, as you can see, we had that wick straight into the upper levels of the fire zone. We're now coming in to respect the outer zone of the order block. We're now coming into the order block. Let's just see if it respects any of the zones. There's the fire zone of the inner order of inside that order block. And again, I've got 10 minutes. Let's see if we're going to get the initial drive out. So again, that would have been the entry area, remember, and then the TP would be up here because we're coming in from an impulse move out. We are now coming in to mitigate. This could end up being our higher lower area. And again, got this mark right in front of you. Got it marked right in front of you. And as long as that's holding structure within these consolidated areas, again, look, let's say this bounces back. It's headed towards the inner strength of the fire zones. Yeah, it's bounced in. Look, 50% is the general area. Remember, guys, 50%. We're there. We've mitigated into 50%. I said that. We've done that. Now what's going to do is push back up. Will it go back up to the liquidity area or drive up through? It very well may drive up through and push past this again to make a higher high. And that is what we call structure. That is what we call structure. My phone is going mental. So again, you can see the drive. You can see the drive on price with this. I'm just going to mute my watch at the moment because I get on average, believe it or not, I get an average about 400 notifications a day. But there you are. Right. So there we are, guys. I mean, that is structure in itself. Structure within structure, a player-by-player book on how I look at the charts. And again, yeah, trading can be hard. Let's just go. let's just go into a final conclusion, because I'm gonna have to draw this to a conclusion. I hope you've seen value in this today, right? I hope you've seen value in this today, and you've seen me do this player by player, structure-wise, and analysis with regards to the structure of high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, how they can impulse move out of the zone to come back in to mitigate 50% of an area, but more so how I anticipated the higher high and where that higher high would move to. I got that to the pip. I got it to the fire zone pip. Okay. And yeah, very, very powerful stuff. Just gonna stop the share, make the video, make my head a bit bigger. So that's it, guys. Okay. Again, overall, I've been doing this for 4 years. Okay. Yes, you're not gonna get this sort of stuff correct straight away. Okay. But it's my aim and my mission to get this to a level where you can at least understand and be able to draw it on a chart. From being able to draw it on a chart, I then get the guys that's inside of this here to implement what they're drawing on a chart and submit it into areas of support where I can then identify. I've got moderators as well within this channel that will help you as well. And once you understand structure, okay, once you understand the structure side of the trading, and we can sort of then need to work on the mindset side of things on, like I've just shown you there today, we could have lost 2%, but we look at the bird's eye view, bigger picture. In the hand, we had 23.84%. If it shot through, you've lost 2%. A lot of people would look at that and go, oh, I've lost it here. But in reality, that 23.84% would be 21.84%. You're still heavily in profit. Now, looking at it a bird's eye view again, you've got 23.84%. I was willing to risk 2% simply because if that trade came in on a 5.15, it will be 10.30% gain. Okay. That 23.84 will go to 33.84%. Now, when was the last time you got 33.84%? In fact, when was the last time you got 23% gain on your trading? Possibly never. But there's nothing wrong with that. I want to be able to help as many as I can, is with an easy process to trading without you relying on, I've got an exclusive tool, I've got an exclusive indicator, I've got an exclusive sort of group where you pay for tools. If I can cut that stuff out and show you just learning basic structure. I was always a 1 hour trading guy, a one hour time frame. I started learning smart money. I started learning smart money around about a year and a half ago. And then I started heavily getting into it. So then I thought, scalping, I've never really liked scalping. I'm doing it now. And I incorporated the smart money aspect with regards to structure and the formation of smart money within the structure of a scalping entity. And I thought, well, I'll try the 1 minute charts. And it can mess with your head a lot. But what I found from my experience and surrounding myself with many others and being in other groups, people were scalping and they were using silly indicators or silly tools or silly softwares, when in reality, and this is going to be the bombshell for you, okay? When in reality, when all you need to trade successfully, for me, and it is working, proofs in the pudding, for me, is to cut out that noise, structure yourself a time frame, okay, of 2 hours, like I'm doing, and I'm doing this every day. And within that 2 hours, work yourself on entries, TPs, and stop losses based upon the price structure, the price action. Forget about the noise, forget about the rubbish. You've seen me do this in front of your very eyes. Yes, it hasn't ended the trades for us on the bigger picture, what we were doing from this morning, but I was showing you, and I was doing an analysis from that basic maneuver of the trend, the higher highs, the higher lows. And as we were moving up, I was telling you where the next price for the higher high was going to go. That price went to exactly that pip and then retraced from the fire zone. Now, this isn't enough to get you excited, to get you wanting to be part of what we have here, then trading's not for you. I've got to be honest with you. If you are not seeing the value in what I'm doing with these on a day-to-day basis, and I don't always get it right. I don't always get it. I'm not perfect. But the thing is, I structure-wise can anticipate exactly where price is going to go. Not necessarily to the pip, but if I've got a structure, an order block frame of that's where my price could head to, and then when I have that, I can put in my firebox or my fire zones, I can anticipate fractal-wise whereabouts it's going to do a retracement from. Now, again, my name's been John anyway. I enjoy doing these, and it's my aim in life and my mission to help as many as I can to sort of learn structure, learn to be self-sufficient, and grow your confidence, your consistency, and then we work upon profitability. Okay, guys? So again, I hope you've taken quite a bit out of today's session. I will see you all later on. If you're not involved with this right now, again, just head over to my YouTube channel, click on the support. The more support I get, the more stuff and the more content I'll push out there. And then eventually, if I get enough support, I would then possibly do live sessions where I'll have an inviting of so many people come on with me at a time. For now, because it is a 1 minute and I try to do an analysis in depth alongside the chart draw ups at the moment, structure wise and time wise, there wouldn't be enough time for me to be able to talk, do the analysis, do the draw ups, and then have the people on the live as such for now, simply because it would interfere a little bit too much. So the next best thing is for me to do live recording in front of you, and then pause the recording for the before, do the recording as we go into the live for the after shot, if that makes sense. So again, drop your comments below. Let me see some engagement. Let me know what you get out of these. Are these valuable to you? If they are, I will continue to do them, and I'm going to continue to document my journey with what we've done so far this month. So my name has been John. Hit that join button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell to get even more content. See you later, guys.